Hey everybody, GC13 here. With Steven Universe Future concluded, and us looking at the very real possibility of no more episodes of Steven Universe ever, I wanted to consider all of that other wonderful Steven Universe content out there. The comics, graphic novels, and games. But what of that is canon? That is to say, what stories really happened, and what stories can never be referenced by any other Steven Universe story. Obviously, the show itself is canon.
Don't worry, bro. None of this is canon.
Okay, Uncle Grandpa, you're right. Your episode probably isn't canon.
Good morning.
But the rest of the show is the yardstick by which all other Steven Universe content is measured. Most of the rest of the content is, as far as the fandom is concerned anyway, what's called secondary canon. This is a term that will be familiar to any Star Wars fan, where any officially licensed book, game, or comic is considered canon unless it conflicts with the movies. When it comes to Steven Universe, the term means much the same thing. Unless a product conflicts with a TV show, it gets to claim canon status. There are products other than the show that get special primary canon status, though. The first run of comics had writing input from the crew, and Rebecca Sugar herself has a writing credit on the Light series of video games. The official line, as often repeated by Ian Jones-Quartey, is that this gives them canon status, just like the show has. Interestingly enough, even though he has a writing credit on Too Cool for School, he says he wrote it specifically to be non-canon. Considering how the graphic novel features Steven going to Connie's school and acing every test because Pearl had been homeschooling him, even though in Mirror Gem we learn that she had never taught him anything up to that point, I can see what he means. It directly conflicts with the show on a clearly established fact. Now, here's the difficult part. The Light series of games are great. They've got fun gameplay and all of the characters you love. You should definitely play them. However, despite very, very clear statements that the crew considers them to be canon, I can't help but notice what seems like a conflict with the show. So I should find myself grappling with a dilemma. Ms. Sugar's writing credit means that the Light series is definitely canon, but they do seem to implicitly contradict the show, at least somewhat. Why then do I, the canon hawk, not really care? Because canon is overrated. We fans love to obsess over what did and didn't really happen, so thanks to that, ancillary content like the comics needs to be gifted the title of secondary canon to give hardcore fans permission to read them. Of course, it's only secondary canon because not only does the show crew not have any input into what happens in them, there's a decent chance that they don't even know. The crew, therefore, needs to be free to contradict the comics. Think about what you value about Steven Universe, though. Was your favorite part about Cheeseburger Backpack some simple fact, like that it was Steven's first encounter with Crystal Shrimp, or was it the characters, and seeing what they did together? Comics may get canon facts wrong. Sometimes they might even get them wrong on purpose so they can tell a particular story. These stories all feature the same characters you love, though. Well, I say that, but sometimes the characters can be changed for the better. In the Lars of the Stars comic arc, we got to see a Pad Paracha living far more in the now than normal, and it worked really well. If a Lars of the Stars spin-off was announced, and the showrunner decided to use that Pad Paracha as the basis for how she'd be portrayed in the new show, I know I'd be on board. So even if those 4 Lars of the Stars comic issues probably never happened, because Pad Paracha isn't like she is in the show, I can still read and enjoy them. Of course, most of the comics keep the characters just like they are in the show, and they can give us great stories. Take issue 21 of the second series, for example. Peridot will probably never play the guitar in any other Steven Universe media, but seeing her overcome her frustration and start learning how to play was still cute and heartwarming. Star Wars is a long-term, dominant franchise, and its primary-secondary canon distinction has proven very effective for managing a broad market of secondary content. Even if you end up with numerous individuals all independently responsible for stealing the Death Star plans, and every drunken bar patron having the death sentence on 12 systems. Quirks aside, anyone can look at what Star Wars had and agree that it will make money for their franchise too. We're fans though, we don't have to worry about what makes money. If you find yourself wanting more Steven Universe content now that the TV show has dried up, then by all means read the comics, play the games. Do it because they're good though, not because someone told you that until they say otherwise, that comic issue definitely really happened to Steven and his friends. A looser interpretation of canon doesn't just make it easier to enjoy the content we already have, it gives creators the freedom to give us spin-offs that wouldn't be possible if everything had to fit with the show just so. A show where Pad Paracha was an active character rather than a joke prop could be just the beginning. What spin-offs would you like to see with a bit more freedom from canon? Let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Maybe someday I'll do a video about how Ian Jones-Quartey explained the canon of Steven Universe. Until then though, remember, canon isn't everything. Good night, everybody.